um, to educate him even in a regular school building. The school district wanted him to go to what is called in Massachusetts a collaborative program. You know, kids from lots of districts went to a building where the only kids there were students with disabilities. So she had to go to court. Um, and it's not a pleasant process. I mean, I would hope that none of you ever have to do it. But what she got was the school to agree to have her son come and be in regular fourth grade. So one of the challenges with Adam is that his reading skills were really, I would say, kind of at the kindergarten, first grade level by the time he was in fourth grade. He was getting some direct reading instruction in a pull-out situation every day, which I think is appropriate, and his mom did as well. But we needed to find a way for his time in his regular language arts class to be meaningful and to have him actively participate. So the first video you're going to see is he's sitting with a group of students, and you're not going to be able to hear it very well. The video's better, but you're not going to be able to hear very well. But the kids have to write a poem together and then present it. So he's just participating in the brainstorming for the poem. I mean, this is no great shakes, but I'm just sort of showing you it's kind of no great, I mean, it's not rocket science to think about how this kid can participate in brainstorming with his friends. Okay, now this is just a short little clip showing the kids presenting their poem. Can't hear them. Okay, again, not rocket science, is it? What was Adam getting out of that activity? Participation, inclusion, what else? Confidence, acceptance, public speaking, value, collaboration, teamwork. Inclusion. He was the center of attention for a while. How about literacy? They were writing down his ideas. Opportunity to communicate. They were actually writing a poem where the first line had to start with a word of their teacher's last name. So let's say her name was, let me be funny here. No, I shouldn't be. Let's say her first name was Smith. So the first line of the poem had to be, so on a cloudy day, M, my dog and I went for a walk, like that. So he was able to contribute because he was learning some of those initial letter sound and what words they made. He had his poem written on just a dry erase board, and he got up and spoke. This next series of next two videos show what's called buddy reading in this school, where all the kids are reading a certain book. And in this case, it was the book Sarah, Plain and Tall. Ever heard of it? Kind of a fourth grade book, right? So way above Adam's current reading ability. But here is the first part of this little scene where Adam is with a buddy, and it's the buddy doing the reading first. Am I getting any speech?
or I can see it. Caleb and I ran to bring her back. Possibly. Laughing at the chickens. I was mad. The chickens would not let me see that. And then Papa said, this is totally going to bring them together in the first roses of summer.
Okay, and now his turn to read. Well as some of the words that he didn't know yet. And when I knew it was a word he didn't know, I put a picture or a symbol above the word. And for every chapter, I wrote about, I would say, 12 sentences. And so he was, you tell me. So here's what it looked like. So I got the cover off Google Images, and it was just like this. Caleb asked his sister Anna about their mother. Anna said, "Mother died when you were a baby." Caleb and Anna's papa put an ad in the newspaper, looking for a wife and a mother for Caleb and Anna. Oh. So it's kind of a long answer, as there is to everything I do. Different team members should volunteer to take responsibility over the course of the year to adapt books. Now, this class, it's going to take them 2 weeks to get through Sarah Plain and Tall. So, and maybe over the course of the year, they'll get through maybe 6 books that all the class is reading together, because it really is part of the curriculum. So, from September to June, we got to find people who will do 6 of these big book adaptations. Parent, you could volunteer to do one. I was at a meeting yesterday over at what school district? Do I want to say? Yes. It's a great school district. I shouldn't say. And the general ed teacher was in the room, and she saw this. She said, "I'm going to do this over the weekend and prepare." She called it a rebus book, which is like a picture word book, which essentially is what it is. She volunteered. A speech path could take one, the occupational therapist. You can train a paraprofessional how to do it. You could go up to the high school, and all those kids that need to have 300 community service hours to graduate, and those kids who want to be teachers, you can get them involved in making adaptive materials in your school. How do you, that's one. How do you demonstrate that this is what kids need, that this is what your child needs? Maybe you need to do one and show it to them. Maybe you need to share some research with them about what effective literacy instruction and adapted materials are for students with the label of intellectual disability. Sarah, would you make a little note that I'm going to send you the Karen Erickson paper? And so for this group as well, I think they would really benefit from, I put together a little instruction sheet for how to make these books. It's pretty simple. You write out, it's pretty simple. But so we will make on the website available to you the instructions for how to do this. The other thing that's in that little instruction booklet is there are websites out there that already have adapted books. Now, they might not have every book that your kid's going to read, and it might not be adapted perfectly for your child, but it might be a start. So there's also a list of websites that you can check to see if some other teacher somewhere, British Columbia has a whole department in their province that people sit all day long and they create adapted materials for kids with disabilities. Be a great job opportunity here. I think on your do all your kids have in the accommodations or modifications section that Johnny needs adapted materials? No? Yes. So that must mean that your child is on grade level for all? No. So another thing that I'm going to put on the website, give you, Sarah, is a list of common useful accommodations and modifications for kids with a variety of disabilities. And the list was put together by this woman, Julie Causton, Causton, who has written books on inclusive education for general and special ed teachers. It's a book series: paraprofessional, speech path, OT, and principal. So if you look up Julie Causton on Amazon, she's got a book called The Educator's Handbook for Inclusive School Practice. This can't, but you can get into your IEP that your child needs adapted materials. That's part of his or her accommodations. You can show examples of adapted materials. You can show them research. Ooh. No. And and how about bring a teacher night? You come, bring a teacher, bring your speech pathologist. Yes.
Would you need to specifically say our child needs adapted materials to access student ed?
That's right.
Is that the way you need to say it? Okay.
That's right. So the reason the student needs adapted materials is in order to receive a free and public education, FAPE, IDEA says, that's the U.S. special education law. It says, I think I have a quote on the slides in a minute, students with disabilities need accessible instructional materials provided to them in a timely way at I think it's to the degree possible at the same time as students without disabilities. That's a quote in IDEA. You can also find a quote in the federal special education law, and you can, Google is your friend, that says and you're going to want to write this down, the amount of curriculum modification that a child needs is not a legitimate reason to keep them out of a general ed class. Amen. I'm going to say it again. The amount of curriculum modification a student needs is not an argument for keeping them out of a general education class. Legally, there has to be some evidence of benefit for the student. But, if you're ever told, oh, your child needs curriculum modification, your student is taking the alternate assessment, your child is 2 levels below grade level, therefore your child cannot be in general ed, those are just all illegal reasons. Oh, I thought, yes, in order for the supports to be provided to your child when they need them, which is when the book's being taught, your team needs to know at least a week ahead of time what book is going to be taught. And a number of teachers post what might be called a curriculum map on your school's website, or the teacher has their own little web page, or you can just ask the teacher, like, what's coming up, on the week of December 1st, what books are the kids going to be reading, what chapter in science are you going to be working on, what theme are you going to be doing in social studies. And there is a whole team planning process for taking that information. I think it's on your green form. And knowing what the teacher is going to teach, really brainstorming within the team about what supports your child needs to fully participate and learn. How do you get your team to sit down and collaborate? Wow, that's the same answer as all the other how do I get my team to, unfortunately, which is there's research that shows the benefits of collaborative teaming on student achievement. Do you know the section in the IEP supports for the team on behalf of the child with a disability? You have that on Missouri and Kansas IEPs? So it might say, training for the paraprofessional, training in the use of assistive technology, 1 hour of common planning time a week provided to all team members. Yeah. So 10-minute break, coffee,